Man, so there are some good things. So obviously, you've met James Van Prooyen and Mara, like all these folks. They're good folks. And so years ago, before I retired, James is VP, right? He's my guy. I've been friends with him forever. Man. It's funny. But just talking about podcasting in 2015, 14, 15 time frame, and I'm like, cool, dude. I have no idea what that even is, man. Like I'm all at that point. Like he was talking to me about doing all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, like I'm in the army, man. Like I mean, you're talking about retiring and doing all this cool like whatever stuff. I'm gonna be a sergeant major, and I'm gonna go do all these things. And that's my goal in life, right? Is to focus on the army. So he talked to me a little bit about that stuff, but as time went closer, my body was broke. I had my knee replaced in 14. My body was starting to break down, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall that I was going to be on my way out. But neither here nor there. Started like he asked me to go to this podcaster association thing with Chris Kremitzos and kind of introduced me to a crew of folks. And I was like, man, what is podcast? Like, he's like, look, you should start one. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll start one. What does it even mean? I don't get it. Anyway, so we started talking a lot. I launched a podcast in January of 17. I did mine on transition. He was doing veteran stuff in business. So it kind of was lined up because I was getting ready to go through my transition. So I was reaching out to a bunch of folks that had already done it to get a little bit of insight. And then, through that, Military Podcast Network got thrown around, having a conference for military influencers, if you will. And I don't want to say that because there's a conference named that, but that was kind of what it was. Is it was a conference for people who created stuff, whether it be podcasting or YouTubing or whatever it may have been, right? And that was back in 17, right? That the idea of that came up. And we just started pounding that through and figuring out what it was going to be. James had ideas and was just running, but he had stuff going on, so he couldn't focus on that. I had stuff going on, so I couldn't focus on that. And then you bring in Chris, and he gave a shot at Podfest and having Military Creator Con, and then Mara really starts because Mara is a business. I mean, she's a pusher, man. Like that woman right there is a go getter. So Military Creator Con became like a real thing. And then, of course, we had a little preemptive Military Creator Con this year, and they're gonna do a big one out in April, right? Out there in Texas. I was hoping it was Florida's close. I could just drive here. I gotta fly. But anyway, yeah, Military Creator Con's coming out there in Texas. It's really exciting. I'm that's just because it's an idea that VP and I talked about years ago. It's one because when he said it, I backed it.